Welcome to this Clean With Me marathon where I'm sharing over 2 hours of cleaning, decluttering, and organizing motivation. I love popping on a Clean With Me marathon when I have a lot of stuff to get done so I don't have to continuously find new videos, and it's just a big block of uninterrupted motivation. If you are new here, hi, my name is Kat. I am a first-time mom to my almost 6-month-old son Louie, but these videos trace back to when he was only a couple months old, so I really like how you'll see the progression of him getting a little older in my experience as a first-time mom in this marathon. And with all of that said, I hope that I can be a friend to get stuff checked off your to-do list with you today, and let's get productive together. If you need cleaning motivation to get your to-do list done, or you just want to watch my house go from messy to clean, you are in the right place. So grab a coffee, an ice water, whatever drink of choice, and let's get some stuff done together. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was kind of like what I want these Clean With Me videos to be like moving forward. And I don't want to say the purpose of them because I feel like it's obvious the purpose, but I know for me, one of the most motivating things whenever I need to dive into a cleaning project or organization or whatever it may be is to, sometimes I will listen to music, but I have found way more often than not, I have now been going to find a different mom creator's Clean With Me video, and I have that playing in the background. And even if I'm not looking at the screen watching their cleaning the whole time, just listening to them talk about whatever, maybe their mom tips, maybe it's just life updates for their own life, but it still feels like I'm cleaning along with somebody, and I find that super motivating to me. So I thought that's really kind of like the avenue I wanted to go down when it comes to my videos that I'm putting out. I obviously just became a mom only 3 months ago, but for honestly the longest time, the majority of the creators that I watch on YouTube are moms and they do have kids. So I hope that my content can still be relatable and motivational. And on that note, I am going to leave links to a few of my absolute favorite mom creators in the description box. When I film these videos, you'll probably see a lot of them every now and then on the TV because like I said, I'm typically watching them while I clean. But I will have a list because there's like 3 or 4 that I go back to constantly. Quick little cleaning intermission because little Louie wanted a snack. I have to say that getting things done around the house with the baby proving to take a lot longer than they used to, mostly because I just have to take so many breaks. So I'm sure as he gets older and he's like walking around, running around, it's just going to be take even longer. So I am appreciating his naps and the amount of time that he just spends sitting in a chair and chilling these days. And we have Callie girl over here. Also, I think I heard the dryer is done. So once he finishes eating, we can grab the blankets, lay them on the couch, and then finish the living room and move on to the kitchen. Okay, Louie has eaten, I have eaten, and the blankets are done. But first I want to show you, this is one of his favorite little just hangout spots. Having a million different hangout spots for him is essential because I never know which one he's going to be in the mood for, even though most of the time he just wants to be held. But this is one of the ones. This is the Uppa Baby Vista bassinet, which I can't believe he's like almost outgrowing. But then I just lay him in there with this little mobile that I got from Amazon. He's making little noises, and he'll just lie here for like, typically I can get 10 to 15, maybe 20 minutes in here. Although it sounds like he is starting to have enough, so I may have to pick him up. But this thing, amazing combination. Okay, a couple things to mention here. If you are looking at the screen, you may notice that we have two fridges, and that is only because we recently got a new fridge. So the fridge on the left, the one with the black side, that was our old fridge, and then we recently got this new one, which is the top fridge, bottom freezer. So much nicer, like we're obsessed. And the ice maker in our other fridge was broken, so it's really nice to have a new one that works. When my mom came over the other day, and obviously they were both there still, she was kind of giving me like a weird look, and I was like, what? We just have been having so much food in our fridge, and we keep running out of space that we decided to get a second one. And she looked at me like I was crazy. And then I was like, I'm just kidding. Tim just hasn't removed the second or like the old fridge yet. And then the second thing that I wanted to note was you can see I am wearing Louis here. He is like, he's a fan of it, but then he's not a fan of it. I'll say this, he's a fan of being worn until he's not a fan anymore, which in this case lasted like maybe 15 minutes. One thing about my son, he'll be in the Baby Yorn bouncer for a little bit, and then he's like, nope, I'm over this. And then I'll put him in the swing, and he's like happy there for a little bit. Then he's over that. And like I'd say, like on average, if he's awake every 20 to 25 minutes, I'm changing where he is. I'm sure that's just a phase, and in time he'll get, more content in one place for longer. But I think it's really nice to have a multitude of different places for him to sit and hang out, because it changes rapidly. Also, I feel like I've been rambling on like a ton in this video so far, so I'm going to take a little bit of time to play some music, and then we'll be back a little later to chat more. And I have some updates on the house search. Not a great update, but it's an update.
Nobody loves me better. Guess I'm just too scared to settle down. There'd be many nights I got too high and almost left town. But there's something about you, something about you I like, about you I like. I get too drunk and too scared and lie to you. If only you knew I would die for you. One of us gotta say the obvious. Nobody loves me better. Nobody loves me better.
Okay, I know I said I was going to share some house updates, and we are going to get to that, but I forgot that this clip was in here first. And I just wanted to mention, if you are a expecting mom, or maybe you're debating whether getting this little bottle washer, we have the Mom Cozy one. I just wanted to share my thoughts. So I do really love this, and we do get a decent amount of use out of it, but not for everything that it's intended for. So what I mean by that is it is a washer. However, when you wash them, you need to be using distilled water. So it was getting kind of annoying to like have to keep buying the distilled gallons of water. It gets expensive. And honestly, a lot of the time it didn't even fit all of the pump parts and bottles that we needed. So we started just popping them directly in the dishwasher. And then what I do love using this for though is to dry them. So those are the main reasons why I wouldn't personally buy this again, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. However, if I didn't have this, what I would buy is the bottle sterilizer and dryer. And this is, I think, like a third of the price or something. I'll have the Mom Cozy one linked below, as well as the washer if you are interested in that, because I know there's different preferences, different needs, and all of that sort of thing. If you don't have a dishwasher, then I would say it's definitely worth it to get the full dishwasher one if you can kind of keep up with getting the distilled water. But what we do is just pop it in the dishwasher, and it's just so much easier to do that. So all we really need is to dry them afterward. Alrighty, now to say I am overwhelmed about the bedroom would be a bit of an understatement. A lot of stuff everywhere, but we're gonna do it. I don't know how long of chill Louis and his bassinet we're gonna get, but right now he's just chilling, so yay for that. Let's talk about some house updates. So if you are new here, I'll fill you in. My husband and I have been looking to buy a house for, I want to say like 9-10 months now, pretty like aggressively. Last February or so, we really started to look. That was like the first time we actually put an offer in on a house. And since we've put a decent amount of offers in and they have all been rejected, which I am a huge believer that rejection is just redirection, and it means that our perfect house is out there. But I will say within the past couple months, there have been 2 houses that we have put offers in on that really, really hurt when we didn't get them. Basically, the first house we had put an offer in back in like August. We had gone a decent amount over asking, and we were pretty hopeful we'd get it, but we didn't really know. And when we didn't get it, I was way more disappointed than I thought I was going to be. And I remember thinking there was no way we were going to find another house that I like as much as this one. But then fast forward to most recently, just a couple weeks ago, it was like a week ago, we saw a house that we both fell in love with. We were so excited about. Like, I was picturing us in this house so quickly. And when I say we went very significantly over asking, where both of us were pretty sure we were going to get it. We knew that there were other offers, so we had to be aggressive. So we really went in with our best foot forward. I was like imagining myself filming the empty house tour and walking around it. But the positive spin that I am taking from this is that house we didn't get back in August, I remember thinking there was no way we were going to find a house that I liked more. That was like the best house that we could possibly find for us, and I just could not imagine a better one. And then we found this house, which blew it out of the water, the other house. Like, I can't now imagine finding a house in our budget that we're going to love more than this one. But I'm reminding myself that I thought that before. And so I do truly believe that the right house is still out there for us, and it's going to make sense eventually why none of these other houses have worked out. And if you are in the process of trying to buy a house, or you've been there, I'm sure you know like how I don't want to say, kind of draining it can be, to be honest, but also just disappointing when you find a house that you really love and you start picturing yourself there and then you don't get it, especially in this market where, you're typically bidding against multiple other people. And something that I don't love is the whole highest and best thing, where we don't know what the other offers are. So we just have to like throw a number out there that we think will make it work. I just don't understand necessarily. If you're a realtor, I'd be curious if you have any insight on like why that's the case, because to me it would make more sense from the seller's point of view to be like, hey, we have an offer of this, are you willing to go above it? And potentially they'll end up getting more for the house that way. They would have if they told us. But regardless, I know that we will find the right house in time, and I'm very excited to take you along that journey when we do find it. Hey there, good morning and welcome back to my channel. Most mornings I wake up and the kitchen is already clean, the living room is nice and tidy, and I love it. But this morning that's just not the case. So we are going to start our morning off while Louis is taking his little morning nap. Alrighty, let's get to cleaning. But first I do want to introduce myself. If you are new here, hi, my name is Kat. I am 30 years old. I live in Connecticut and I just gave birth to my son Louis 3.5-ish months ago. He was born on July 11th. And while I have been making clean with me videos on YouTube for a very long time now, I'm obviously new to the mom community and I'm so grateful and excited to be here. And one thing that I have learned being a mom is doing pretty much anything, including cleaning, it takes a lot longer than it would in my previous life. I will say that as Louis has gotten older, he's become way more content just sitting in his baby Bjorn bouncer or his bassinet or chilling on the couch, just like watching me clean or something. However, there are still plenty of times like this one where he just wants to be held, and it seems seems like any spot I put him in, he's happy, like content for maybe 5 to 10 minutes before he's ready to be picked up again. But I was very grateful that he gave me like 10 minutes hanging out in this bassinet where I have the little mobile there, and he was just chilling for a bit, and that gave me some time to make the couch.
I don't really care about love. I don't really care about happy ever after. Something about you gives me hope. Something about you, yeah. When the sun goes down and the night sky's falling, do you believe in one-time lovers? 'Cause deep inside of my wildest dreams, you'll be by my side.
While I do absolutely love this couch, it's the Cindy Crawford Home line from Raymour and Flanigan. I actually got this back in 2018, yeah, when I purchased my condo. But this couch I actually got secondhand off like Facebook Marketplace or something for only $100. I remember being so proud. This couch has done me so well. We've had it for such a long time. However, I will say that I am very excited when we do eventually find a house. I talked a little bit about our house buying journey in my last Clean With Me video, but I'm very excited to get a new couch. And while I do love this couch, something I'm really excited about for a new one is getting the cushions to be attached to the back of the couch itself. I've gotten really sick of having to readjust the pillows. Like, it feels like multiple times a day because they're always sliding and slipping, and then it just becomes not as comfortable. So I don't know. I mean, I know there are pros of being able to remove like of the cushions not being attached. So actually I'd be curious to know your thoughts if you have a couch with cushions that are attached or not, and do you like it, and like what are your reasoning? I don't know. Let me know, because that's something that we will hopefully be buying in the near future. Now, by this point, Louis had decided he was over the whole bassinet mobile combination and he wanted to be held again. So I was rocking him. One of my favorite things to do with him is bring him in front of a mirror and be like, that's you, that's you. And then most of the time, actually, he will do a big smile when he sees himself and then sees me looking at him. It's just the cutest thing in the entire world. But then it was time for him to eat. So again, we're having a little cleaning pause, doing a little feeding session. And I have to say, sometimes in the moment, I can be a little frustrated when I'm just in the zone, or I want to be in the zone and just get as much cleaning as I can done. But I have to keep pausing to either entertain him or feed him or whatever it may be, put him down for a nap. But then I remind myself that I'm going to miss these days so much. And I take those moments as a reminder to just slow down and be incredibly present in the moment with Louis. And I will just look at him and think about how grateful I am to have him and that I get to be his mom. To be honest, I have been starting to be I don't know if anxious is the right word, maybe a little bit, but just finding myself thinking about when I go back to work a lot more, and how it's not always going to be just me and Louis all day, every day. And while I am very grateful for my job, very grateful for the fact that I work from home, and incredibly grateful for the fact that I was able to take 6 months maternity, because I know that is not common at all. It's still something that like rents space in my mind lately of like, okay, I'm so happy right now, but I am going to be going back to work and I do enjoy my job and I love the people I work with. But now it's like all I want to do every day is spend time with Louis. So that's been something that's been taking up a lot of space in my mind, and I have to remind myself to just be present in the moment now. And I also know that once I go back to work, I'm going to get back into a routine and it's all going to work out, and I'm still going to have plenty of time with Louis and plenty of family time, and everything is going to be okay. I mean, I'm sure if you're a mom who was on maternity and went back to work after that, you can relate to the feeling of it's just going to be such a big adjustment. And if you're also a mom who has been on maternity leave and then gone back to work, I would love to know any tips or hacks or advice that you have that really helped you when you went through that transition. Now you can probably see in this clip if you're looking at the screen. If you're not, I'll just tell you. I also have my phone, which is filming me because I was filming a TikTok/Instagram reel video. And I just wanted to mention that I do post clean with me videos, habits, routines, all that kind of content on my TikTok and my Instagram as well. And I actually have been posting a lot of them on YouTube Shorts. So if you wanted to see any short form content, but you only have YouTube, I do have those uploaded, or a lot of them uploaded there as well. YouTube is what I've done for the longest, and it is definitely my biggest passion. But I will say that making shorter videos is a lot of fun too, and I edit them a little bit differently, like more with little quick cuts and things like that. I actually have a series called Solo Mom Vlogs. I think there's like 8 or 9 parts out at this point, where I do like little trips out and about in the world with my baby, and that is one of my favorite series that I've ever done on those channels. So if you're interested, I'll have some of those linked below. Alrighty, moving into the kitchen. This definitely made me feel very overwhelmed because the island, as you can see, was just completely cluttered up with so much stuff. So by starting with it and clearing that off before anything else, it makes the entire space so much more manageable. And that is a huge tip I have whenever you're dealing with any cleaning project, is go for the focal point of the room and tackle that first. So for example, when you're cleaning your bedroom, you would make the bed first. That's immediately going to make it seem cleaner. If you are cleaning a living room, I would recommend making the couch first, putting the cushions back if they need to be, adjusting the throw pillows on there, folding the blankets. And then in the kitchen, I think the counters are the biggest space. Specifically, if you have an island, I find that once that is cleaned off, the kitchen looks 10,000 times cleaner and makes it so much easier. And then you have another space if you need to put anything on there that you're like organizing or moving around, you have that cleared off as well. So now here you see that Tim got home from work. He walks into the clip in a second, and he reminded me that we had Louie's doctor's appointment that I had completely forgotten about. So I needed to just pause cleaning right then and there, and we had to get going. And then as you can see, I didn't get back to it till later that evening. And no, I did not wear my pajamas to Louie's doctor's appointment, but yes, I did change back into them when we got home because they were comfy. Also, I don't know if you can hear that, but Louie is waking up from his nap. Okay, I was able to put his binky in, and he seems to have fallen back asleep. He's lying here next to me, and I hope that we have I don't know how much longer we have before he wakes up again, but we're going to continue with the voiceover as long as we have. And one thing that was nice about this delay and doing the cleaning later in the evening was that at that point, Tim was obviously home, so I was able to hand Louie off to him and pop some headphones in, which I rarely get to do because when I'm home alone with Louie, I'm never going to put headphones in. But I used to always talk about how much I loved cleaning with headphones, even if I was just home completely by myself, because it helps me get in the zone and kind of drown everything else out. But when I'm alone with Louie, obviously I need to be able to hear him, and just in case he cries or needs me or whatever it is, I'm never going to pop headphones in when I'm alone with him. So this was a really nice treat and made it a lot more enjoyable.
Nobody loves me better. Guess I'm just too scared to settle down. There'd be many nights I got too high and almost left town. But there's something about you, something about you I like, about you I like. I get too drunk and too scared and lie to you. If only you knew I would die for you. One of us gotta say the obvious. Nobody loves me better.
I don't know if this is just me, but there is something so relaxing about nighttime cleaning. I just thought of that when I was looking at this clip, and you can see obviously through the window, it's like pitch black out. There is just something very calming and motivating. You would think that it's nighttime, all I want to do is sit on the couch, and don't get me wrong, a lot of the time, yeah, that's the case, but I don't know, I kind of want to start doing more like after dark clean with me videos. I see those a lot, and I think that there is a lot of motivation that comes from that. So I'm curious if that's something that you'd be interested in. And obviously now that we're going to be entering November, we're going to have daylight savings soon, and it's going to be getting dark way, way earlier. So I guess naturally I'll be filming at nighttime more. And on that note, if you are somebody who tends to dread daylight savings and you just do not want it to be getting dark earlier, I do understand that, but I also want to offer a different perspective. I actually love how it gets darker this time of year, because with the holidays and it getting colder out, you're inside more naturally. So it just feels so much cozier to, you know, it's 5 o'clock and it's dark out and you're cooking dinner and you have maybe your Christmas or your holiday lights up, your tree is all lit, you have a candle lit, and it just makes the kind of like the spirit of the season so much more magical, in my opinion. Especially in the next few weeks, we'll start to see a lot of holiday lights when you're driving around, and those wouldn't really look that magical if it was super bright and sunny at 7 p.m. You know what I mean? But driving home from work, you see all these beautiful holiday lights and it's dark out, so they really stand out and look so magical. So for those reasons, not to sound like Shark Tank, I really, really do love how it gets darker earlier during the holiday season. Now, as we approach the end of this video, I just wanted to remind you that I almost never feel like cleaning before I get started, but once I get into it, the momentum builds, my motivation builds, and it feels so amazing once I'm done. And most of the time when I'm actually doing the cleaning, once I get going, I start to enjoy it as well, especially when I'm cleaning along with one of my favorite mom creators. I feel like watching Clean With Me videos while I clean is one of my favorite things to do. Your closet being one of the most used spaces in your home means two things. One, it's going to get messy very, very quickly, and two, it is one of the most important places in your home to keep clean, which means that cleaning out your closet is probably something you're going to have to do multiple times a year, and today I'm here to do it with you. So grab a coffee, some water, and let's romanticize some cleaning together. So to make this closet clean out project a little bit less overwhelming, we are breaking it up into multiple stages, and step one is dealing with all of these little bins, I don't know if you'd call them bins or baskets, whatever, that are on these shelves. Also, just to note that you can see on the shelves above and below the ones that I'm pulling these bins from, there's a lot of clothes. Those are all my husband's, but today we are not worrying about his clothes. We're just focusing on mine. By far, one of the most challenging parts of any declutter organization project is getting started, and the thought of having to dive in and clear out the entire closet in one go ahead was just way too much for me. So by breaking it up and doing a little bit each day for about a week, I'd say it took me in total, it made the entire process way more enjoyable. And obviously having my baby girl Callie here next to me just makes it so much better. If you're looking at the screen, you can definitely tell from my face, I was very overwhelmed. This was a lot of clothes, and my goal here was to donate as much as possible. I'm really starting to thin out my closet, especially now that I'm a mom. I'm actually so excited to kind of find my new mom style. I feel like I don't know if that sounds cheesy, but I do find that I'm reaching for different types of clothes than maybe I would have in the past. I mean, still pretty much the same, especially since I worked from home for so long. So, you know, I'm mostly wearing more casual, comfortable clothes on a day-to-day basis, but I am very pumped to start enhancing my style to, you know, the life of motherhood, whatever that's going to look like, and kind of find my new style for myself. But in order to do that, of course, I have to get rid of a lot of clothes that I don't really wear anymore and that don't really fit my style that I want moving forward. So here I was separating everything into piles. The bag on the floor, I'm putting everything that I'm going to be donating, and then the 4 bins on the bed, I'm just kind of separating out the different types of clothes that I still want to keep, but I'll go through and organize each bin afterwards. In case you're new here, I did want to take a moment to introduce myself. My name is Kat. I'm 30 years old. I live in Connecticut. I've been in Connecticut my entire life. However, I've moved around a lot within the state during my life. I've been married to my husband, Tim, for a little over a year now. We got married on August 23rd of 2024. However, we've been together since I was 18, which I believe is like 12 years and change at this point. We met and started dating in 2013. It is incredible to look back on the past 12 years and know that not only have we been together for so long, but we've also really grown up together. Like I was 18, he was 19 when we met, and now I'm 30, he's 31, and it has just been the most incredible journey together. And the newest, most amazing thing that we have ever done together is had our son, Louis. He is the absolute light of our lives, and he has made our lives more full of love than honestly I ever could have imagined. I mean, I knew going into being a mother that like he would teach me a kind of love that I've never experienced, but it definitely far exceeded any like expectation, not to sound cliche, that I could have ever had. But it has just been the most amazing journey being a mother. And here on YouTube, I create a ton of cleaning and home and mom life videos. I've been doing cleaning videos on here for years, so it's really exciting to enter this new community of the moms and the parents and families here on YouTube to share hopefully cleaning motivation, lifestyle motivation, routines, my life, and hopefully you'd like to stick around and come back for more videos like this, where whether you want some motivation to clean or just a friend to hang out with while you're getting stuff done around your house, that's kind of like the overall theme of the majority of my content on here. So I know I've talked recently a lot about how my husband and I are in the process of trying to buy a house, and I'm not going to lie, for the longest time, I've kind of been putting off a lot of these big declutter projects that I've been wanting to do, but I'm just like, oh, well, once we get a house, that'll be like my kind of cue to really dive in and start decluttering our entire home. There were a couple of houses that we've put offers in on. There was a couple that we really thought we were going to get, and we're honestly pretty disappointed when we didn't. However, rejection is just redirection, and I know our perfect home is out there. So I finally decided that there is absolutely no reason to wait. And the more that I put off decluttering and organizing our home as it currently is, it's just going to make it more, overwhelming when we finally do buy a house and I have to go to do everything then, and really making the space that we're in right now as organized and clean and enjoyable of a space to be in as possible. So with that said, I am being ruthless with everything that I'm choosing to keep or not keep. As I mentioned earlier, I'm like in the process of finding my mom style anyways. There's a lot of clothes that I'm just don't see myself wearing anymore in this new era of my life. But also if there's an item of clothing that I'm debating whether I want to keep or not, I ask myself, do I like this enough to pack it up and move it to another house? Because inevitably that's what's going to be happening. And that question alone has really helped me to put a lot of clothing items into the donate bin. Okay, we are on to another day, and today's task is going through all of my fall and winter sweaters that I had stored in one of these vacuum bags. I love these things. Like I said, I'm from New England, so we have 4 very distinct seasons, and I have 2 completely different wardrobes for the spring and summer / the fall and winter. So instead of just keeping everything in my closet year round, I will swap out my the clothes for that season, maybe like twice a year, I'd say, maybe 3 times a year, depending on what those items are. But here I'm going through all of the fall and winter sweaters I'd packed away last year, and there were a few that I was able to pop into that donate bin, and I'm really excited because that's what I'm, like I said, trying to donate as much as I possibly can. Now this is totally random and has nothing to do with this video, but while I was filming, I decided that this fake olive tree that I had next to the TV in our bedroom, I wanted to try moving over to this corner, and I'm actually really happy with it over here. I think it fills that space so much nicer. I am very pumped once we finally buy a house that we're going to get a new bed, probably a king bed instead of the queen that we have, and matching nightstands. Right now we only have one nightstand because it's the one I had from when I first moved out of my parents' house like 6 or 7 years ago, and we just have not gotten a second one, but I think that this looks really nice with the tree over there. Also, this little blow-up chair that I got for Louis, he is obsessed with. I think it's the cutest little thing, and one of the little seating areas that he'll hang out in is if I'm folding laundry, or in this case, putting all of the summer clothes into the bag to kind of be stored away for next year. He's sitting in it in his bassinet watching me, and I just think it's the cutest little chair. So I will have that. I got it from Amazon. I'll have it linked on my storefront if you're interested. Update, Callie is okay with the tree next to her bed. You don't mind. Alrighty, it is now another day again, and here we are ready to tackle the clothes that are hanging in the closet. And like I've said, the goal really is to get rid of as much things as I can, and kind of the mindset that I am going for is I don't want to use all of the available space in my closet. I think this will not only make my closet feel a little less overwhelming and just like look more pleasing to the eye if I'm not literally taking up every spare inch of space that I have, but it's also going to allow for me to add new clothes to it without it getting completely cluttered up, because of course, no matter how hard I try to not buy new clothes, new things are going to come into my closet here and there. So by having the space for it, it just helps to minimize or slow down the inevitableness of it becoming a huge cluttered mess. I've heard people say the rule of like one item in, one item out, and I think that's a great rule. I'll be honest, it's just never something that I've actually followed through with. So I know that that's not really a realistic tip in my life. So by having my closet be a little bit less full when I do this big declutter, it helps set me up for success for the future. Since this is a closet clean out video, I really wanted to share some of the top questions that I ask myself when I'm deciding whether to keep, donate, or store an item of clothing. And those questions are as follows. Number one, and this is my favorite, if I did not already own this item and I were to see it in the store, would I even think twice about buying it? Most of the time, if I'm kind of on the fence about an item, the answer to that question is no, and it's a super easy, let me donate it. This jacket, I was debating whether I was going to keep or not, and I ended up deciding that if I saw it in the store, I would buy it, so that is going in the keep pile. But then this one, I like the jacket, but I really don't like the sleeves, and I really don't need two pleather jackets, so this one is going in the donate bin. Alrighty, so we have a handful of piles here. This is all stuff that's going back in the closet. This is all giveaway. This over here is all stuff to go in my summer/pregnancy box or bin. Those are more pregnancy things. These are two things that just go back in the closet, but not on hangers. Louis is hanging out in his little bassinet. You having fun, bud? But before we start moving clothes back in the closet, there is a lot of organizing. Here, let me adjust the light. It's like annoying moving this big light around, but I feel like it really does make such a difference, so it's worth it for like the video clip. But I want to go through this section. I want to go through that kind of cleaning up. Those are sweaters that we had already like taken out of my fall winter bag, so that I know is going to be there, but we may adjust where they go. Every shelf here, other than the two with my little bins, is all Tim stuff, and honestly, clearly you can kind of see that all has to be decluttered as well. That's actually my sister's. I have to bring that back to her. Also, I love how we have this massive mirror in here. It makes the closet feel so much bigger. All right, let's clean up these little areas so we can bring all the clothes back in. Another question I like to ask myself is, when is the last time I wore this? What kind of event would I be going to that I'd wear it to again? And realistically, if an event like that comes up, could I just wear one of the other items that I have, or would I be excited to go out and get to pick out a new item for that event? And I definitely don't say that to encourage going out and just buying new clothes or shoes for every event that you have. However, this more goes for those pieces where I have a very specific type of event in my mind that I'd wear that singular pair of shoes or dress or top, whatever it is. And realistically, if and when that specific type of event occurs, I end up wearing something more classic or wanting to buy something new for it anyways. And I've just been like hoarding these items for years and years. So by asking myself this question, I was able to move a ton of pairs of shoes into the donation pile. You know, there's always that section in your closet, or any project that you're decluttering, I should say, that just stresses you out the most. Well, for me, that was this corner back here. And I don't know why, because once I actually started pulling everything from it and kind of organizing it, I realized how not big of a deal it was. And it was actually pretty quickly and easy to get it decluttered and organized. I will say that bin that I'm sitting on has a bunch of clothes in it that, to be honest, I could probably find a handful of those to donate as well. But I decided that's going to be a project for another day. As I was sitting there, the thought of opening it up and going through more clothes was just incredibly overwhelming to me. And I think when you start getting to that point in a project where you're like, I'm gonna become too overwhelmed and shut down soon, that's when you need to put a pause on it and take a step back. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And honestly, it can be 10 times more productive sometimes, because then when you come back to it with more of a refreshed mindset, it's gonna be way easier to get through it, and you're probably gonna enjoy it more. I am glad I opened it for a sec though, because I found that pumpkin sweatshirt that, obviously it's almost Halloween, so it would have been kind of disappointing if I found it after Halloween and had to wait a whole another year to wear it. But after that, I closed it up, and that is for another day, another video. But I am vacuuming up, which definitely made the space feel a little bit cleaner. So now I'm just taking all of the summer, spring clothes, popping those into one of these vacuum bags, and I'll store that away for next year. Honestly, this is such a random thing to love about living in New England, but one of the things I love about having 4 seasons is that, as I mentioned earlier, I basically have 2 different wardrobes for the different temperatures of the year, and each new season, when I go through the clothes that I had stored away the previous year, it almost feels like I'm getting a whole new bunch of clothes, because I'll forget about some of the fun pieces that I have that I really love, and it's exciting to go through every year. So while yes, there are things that I don't love, like when it's literally 2 degrees outside in the winter, or 100 and super humid in the summer, I honestly could never imagine myself living anywhere other than New England. I mean, yes, of course, my family being here is a huge part of that. And maybe if my family wasn't here, Tim and I have said it would be cool to go live somewhere else, but we're both very, very family oriented, and both of our families are in this area. So being able to see them on a regular basis is incredibly important to us. And then, like I said, I just think that New England weather, I love the seasons. I love that we are close to New York, we're close to Boston, we're close to the ocean, we're close to Vermont, and more of the woodsy area. So I absolutely love living in New England. Alrighty, on to another day. And today I had some laundry to fold, and I figured that since this is a closet video, it made perfect sense to film myself folding the laundry, because then we got to stack it up back in the closet, which now has a lot more room and can easily take it without being being completely cluttered. Also, Louis loves sitting in this blow up chair here. Actually, I can't remember if I talked about this in the video before. Hold on, let me go check. Okay, yes, I just went back and looked at the beginning of this video, and I guess we already did talk about this little blow up chair. So here's another scenario, another day where he's sitting in it. He also has become a huge fan of Crinkle books. So you can see he's got one in his lap here, and I just think it's the cutest thing watching him play with those. So he was sitting there hanging out for a little while, although you will see in a few minutes, or I mean in the video a few seconds, that he ended up getting a little fussy and wanted to be closer to me, which I am definitely not complaining. I will take any second that I have sitting with him. So in a moment here, I'm going to be picking him up and he'll come hang out on the bed with us while we fold. As a first-time mom, it has become very clear to me that doing literally anything ever takes a lot longer than it has in the past. And while yes, in the moment, sometimes if I'm trying to get something done and I have to keep stopping, I'm not gonna lie, it can be a little frustrating. But at the same time, one of my favorite parts about motherhood so far, and one of the best lessons I've learned, is how important it is to slow down and be present in these little moments. The laundry will be there. I can deal with that in a little bit, but in the moment when Louis wants my attention, that's really all that I care about.
Are we gonna take a break from laundry? Laundry's not important when you want my attention. I love you. Look at that smile. Do you think you're gonna like coffee one day? If you're anything like your mommy, you will. Oh. Oh.
And just like that, the laundry is folded and put away, and I am so happy with how cleaned out and organized these sections of the closet look. Obviously, yes, there are still areas that still need to be tackled, and I think we're going to do those in upcoming videos. Like I said, separating these tasks out makes the entire process more manageable and more enjoyable, which is what we're looking for when we are doing anything in our life, right? But if you watch until this part, comment what is your favorite season based on fashion. Like, what is your favorite season to dress for? I think I have to say fall fashion is my favorite, but I also really do love summer dresses. So I don't know, but let me know what your favorite is. It's funny because I used to be somebody who was so anti-clutter. Like if there was anything other than the absolute, not the absolute essentials, but like the decor that I've put out, the pillows, things like that out, it just made me feel just kind of like, I don't know, I just didn't like it, not at peace. Since having a baby, which is why I say the past 4 months, my son is 4 months now, it is really changed. Now don't get me wrong, I still don't like to have a bunch of unused stuff all over the place. However, my like threshold for how much stuff is left out has definitely gone significantly up because there's just so many baby products that we use on a day-to-day basis. For example, in the living room, we have 2 different seats, his swing and the baby Bjorn. We also have a play mat on the floor. We had his bassinet out there for a little while, like the one from the stroller, because he would lie in that. We have a little bin with some of his toys that he likes to play with, and it just doesn't make sense to pack that stuff up every day and then put it back. So it just kind of sits there, and it makes my life so much easier. And the same thing in the kitchen is, you'll see, I used to want absolutely nothing on the kitchen counters, or like as little as possible. But now we have all our bottle stuff. We have the bottle washer, which we only use for a dryer, but that's a different story. I find that it's better to have it out than to have to be putting it away and taking it back every single day. So little fun thing that has changed in my life since becoming a mom. And kind of along the same lines of what we just talked about with like having a whole bunch of stuff out, some of the stuff like the baby Bjorn seat, the swing, I only have one of each of those. I'm not going to have duplicates for upstairs and downstairs, but the playmat is something that's really nice to have one upstairs and one downstairs. And we do have different ones because I think it's, that's a fun thing to switch up. He has the Love Everyone in the nursery, and then this Finding Nemo themed one downstairs. Okay, moving on to the kitchen. Now here you can see, well, if you're looking at the screen, I popped Louis into his little baby Bjorn. He loves watching me clean the kitchen. And I have to say, when it comes to his wake windows, which on average are like an hour and a half to 2 hours at this point, I like to make it a combination of obviously playtime and reading time and things like that, but then also time spent where he's just watching me do everyday chores like cleaning, making my breakfast, folding laundry, things like that. When I'm doing these things, most of the time I'm talking to him, and sometimes when I'm making my breakfast, I'll like show him like, this is the egg and I crack this in the bowl and then I put in the salt and and I think it's so funny to have him watch. And I'm by no means an expert, but I do think it's really beneficial for him to be included and have me kind of talk him through the things that I'm doing, even if he doesn't know what I'm saying. And of course, as he gets older, I'm really excited to have him participate in tasks like folding the laundry and cooking dinner and those mundane tasks that get done every day. And I think one of the most important lessons that I want to teach Louis, and really anybody, is that your life is legitimately just a series of moments, and if you can learn how to romanticize those everyday moments that otherwise may be kind of mundane and boring, but you can make them a little bit more fun, a little bit more special, and be incredibly grateful with everything that you're able to do, then that's how you're going to be the happiest that you possibly can, because there's no escaping doing dishes, there's no escaping folding your laundry and cooking dinner. But if you can change the way you think about it and do little things to make those mundane moments a little more special, like light a candle, listen to some fun music or a podcast, or FaceTime a friend while you're doing them, just something to make it a little bit more romanticized, you will be surprised at how much more fun, enjoyable, and honestly just like magical your life becomes. I know I've talked a lot about the house hunting journey that my husband and I are on, and I just wanted to talk about it a little bit. I'm not going to lie, this is not the most positive update, but I do think that anybody who's looking for a home in this market can most likely relate to this. I hope that you can't, but chances are, most people that I talk to have gone through similar things. So I wanted to talk about it. My husband and I have been pretty seriously looking to buy a house for about like 8 or 9 months now. We've put in multiple offers, which obviously have all been declined. There are 2 that stand out to me that really, really were like incredibly disappointing when we didn't get them. And even though I am a firm believer that rejection is just redirection and our perfect home is waiting out there for us, we just need to find it, and eventually it will make sense why nothing else has worked out. I'm not going to lie, the constant stress has really started to drain me and get to me. And it's kind of to the point, and I'm curious if you've been through something similar, if you can relate, but it's like when I see a house that I'm interested in pop up on like the website, or if Tim sends me one, it actually gives me more negative feelings than positive ones, because, my initial thought is, oh, that house looks really exciting. But then quickly all of the thoughts about like, oh, we're probably not going to get it. And, even if we do put in an offer, it's probably not going to be accepted. There's probably so many people looking at it, and I'm going to have to feel that disappointment again. And there's just no point in even dealing with it. And that's kind of where my mind goes. But I will say that something that actually has been helping me a lot is if you watch Catherine Elaine, she's another YouTuber on here. You've probably heard of her. I love her videos. She recently went through a similar situation where her and her husband were looking to buy a house. They put in multiple offers, they were getting outbid every single time. I know they more recently had a situation where they got an offer accepted. They ended up backing out of it, and she was like talked in a lot of videos about just how overwhelming and stressful the whole thing was. But then she recently just announced that they got a house, they found one, they bought it, and it all just magically fell into place like so perfectly. And it just made sense to her why nothing else worked out before. And hearing that story is really what I needed. That eventually we will find the right house, and it will all make sense as to like the timing of how everything happened. So I just wanted to share one, so that if you're going through something similar, I can tell you are definitely not alone, and also to share some appreciation for Catherine and the fact that she's been sharing her experience, because I know that I have found that incredibly helpful. welcome back. Although it's been a second for you, it's been a full day for me, or almost a full day. Although I am wearing the exact same outfit as yesterday because I love this outfit. The difference is I have a gray t-shirt on underneath instead of a white one. And we have 2 more rooms. The nursery we're gonna do right now. I do have some clean laundry to fold. Then the bedroom, which is a total disaster. And also Katie Vining just posted a video, so we're gonna watch that. Also, I don't know if I said this, but Louis is currently napping, so he will probably get up soon and then he'll watch me as I clean. All right, I thought as we're cleaning up the nursery, I could share a little bit of an update on, not as much on Louis, but more on like me and my life as a mom. I'm now 4 months postpartum. I am definitely feeling so much more confident as a mom and like just my ability to take care of him. And at the beginning, it was literally like anything I did, I was so terrified. Like changing him, I was afraid I was going to hurt him. Feeding him, I was nervous I wasn't doing it right. Like everything was just so much more scary. But now I'm so grateful to feel so much more confident. One, like, I wouldn't, this isn't funny. It's kind of like, not funny, haha, but just if you ask my husband, he'd be like, yep, that's true. Something that I've recently been experiencing is like extreme irritability. And I'll like consciously know like, okay, I'm being unreasonably irritable right now, but I just feel so like, I don't know another word other than irritable to describe it. I have heard moms refer to it as like nursing rage, things like that. And let me just tell you, I've been feeling it. And sometimes I just need to be like, Kat, take a chill pill. You're fine. There's no reason to be annoyed right now. And I know that that'll get better, but it's just something I've been experiencing. So I'm curious if you have also nursed, or maybe not just, you know, the sleep deprivation, although my sleep has gotten a lot better. So I don't know. Let me know if that's something you've experienced. All right, moving into the bedroom, Louis was up and he was ready to hang out. So as I mentioned before, this little blow up seat is amazing. I popped that in the bassinet and he was just chilling with me. I saw this Instagram and I don't know, this may make me sound a little crazy, but it is what it is because couldn't be truer for me. I'm somebody where if you try and get near the bed with your outside clothes, it's going to drive me crazy. Like Tim knows not to get in bed if he's still wearing the clothes that he was wearing out and about all day. But for some reason, Callie, my dog, can pop on the bed. She can sit on my pillow and it genuinely doesn't bother me at all. I mean, given she is definitely a clean dog, I give her a bath at least once a month. She's just like kind of she doesn't really shed that much, but I know that doesn't make any sense. Like logically, I should not be okay with her on my pillow if I don't want people in their outside clothes on my bed, but it doesn't bother me for some reason. So let me know if you can relate to that. But anyways, moving on, after I popped all these clean clothes on the bed so that I can fold them, I had a whole bunch of dirty clothes that were on the floor because I had needed, like I was trying to find something or an item clothing, I forget what it was, leggings or something. And so I completely emptied out the dirty laundry pile. I did find them, so that's good. But I didn't put them back. So we're taking care of that. Louis is definitely a mobile baby. He has this little portable one, which he absolutely loves. And then he's got another one in his crib. I'll have both of them linked there from Amazon. But I thought it was funny. We were at the doctor's office today for his 4-month appointment. I can't believe how fast that came. But he was kind of like getting a little fussy. And then I noticed they had a similar kind of like mobile type thing hanging from the ceiling. And I lifted him up to look at it and his eyes were just glued. He was so interested. It was so cute to see. So I'm curious if you have a baby, does your baby also like mobiles? I just think it's so cute to watch him watch it and be like so mesmerized by it. Now, if you're anything like me, you have an area where you put socks when you don't know where their match is. This is specifically my husband's socks because he has so many more than me. And I did not realize how long it had been that I had been adding to this, like, you know, socks that don't have their match area. So I decided it was finally time to go through them. And you can see halfway through, Louis decided he wanted some entertainment and attention. So he's sitting with me. But I was going through, there were so many matches that I was able to make. There were still a decent amount that their matches are probably somewhere in the laundry, maybe under the bed, to be honest, under the couch, in the car, I don't know, just disappeared into the world. But I made as many more matches as I could. And I know Tim will be very pleasantly surprised when he goes in his sock bin and there's a ton more socks that just magically appeared. And I actually was so excited to find that I had 2 additional bags, like storage bags of some holiday stuff, but also just like fall and winter sweaters that I completely forgot that I had. And it's funny, and I'm going to claim pregnancy brain. But when I did my closet refresh video a couple weeks ago, in that video, I took out a whole bunch of my fall sweaters that I had in storage. And I remember thinking to myself, like, oh, I thought I had more than this, but I guess not. And I just didn't think much about it. Like, I just kind of went on my way thinking that whatever sweaters were in that one bag is everything that I had. And then when I saw these, when I was pulling out the Christmas decorations, I was like, oh my gosh, I have so many more sweaters that I don't know how I forgot about all of these. So I was very excited, but I also was determined to declutter as many of them as I could, because as I've talked about, I'm kind of on a declutter journey right now.
Nobody told me to settle down. Day nights and late nights don't get around. But there's something about you I like, about you I like. You're crazy for saying I should slow down, but maybe I'm escaping the love we found. There's something about you I like.
To finish up this clean with me, we're doing some vacuuming. I think it's so cute how Callie like stands there like, what are you doing, Mom? Why are you, what is that? And sometimes she'll actually try and attack the vacuum. She didn't today, but I think it's the funniest thing when she does that. Okay, if your house is feeling like it's holding you hostage, you are not alone. I've learned that sometimes the mess is more about the mental clutter than the actual physical dirt. So today we are going to do a judgment-free cleaning session where we tackle any cleaning, organizing, declutter, anything that you need to check off your to-do list. And I'm going to be right here along the way, not only to give you continued motivation, but also as a friend to hang out with and make the entire process so much more enjoyable. Whatever cleaning projects you're tackling today, I just want to remind you that the hardest part is getting started. And a lot of times our mind makes the mess feel so much larger than it actually is. But once you get started, you start building up momentum and it actually becomes enjoyable because you start to see progress, and slowly but surely you are going to end up with a super clean space and in turn a super clean mind, which is the ultimate goal.
I don't really care about love. I don't really care about happy ever after. Something about you gives me hope. Something about you, yeah. When the sun goes down and the night sky's falling, do you believe in one-time lovers? 'Cause deep inside of my wildest dreams, you'll be by my side when the sun goes down.
If you see me continuing to look over to my side and look like I'm talking to somebody, I promise I'm not talking to myself, although that's not completely out of the realm of possibility for me, to be honest. But I was talking with my sister Annie. She was over hanging out with me for the day, and Louis, my son, is over there as well. Not that he knows what I'm saying because he's only 4 months, but it was really nice to have some company. Most of the time when I'm cleaning, it's just me and Louis in the house, and I'm listening to a Clean With Me video or something. So it was really nice today to have my sister there to be able to chat while I was getting stuff done. Now we will be coming back to the kitchen, but for now we're going to move over to the living room because, as you can see, this needed a ton of work as well. You may also notice I changed outfits. Obviously my pajamas were super comfy, but they don't make me feel productive. They don't make me feel my best when I'm trying to get stuff done. So I did change into a matching comfy set, still just as comfortable, but makes me feel a little more put together. So one of my top tips to get your cleaning done is put on something that makes you feel at least a little bit put together, and you're going to be so much more motivated.
Merry Christmas, baby. Reindeer's coming out to play. Santa Claus is packing the presents, making sure you've been behaving okay. Merry Christmas, honey. Yeah. The snowman's dusting off his hat, putting on the show for everybody, to give them a smile that lasts another year. There's something that happens when sleigh bells are ringing, when December ends, when the children are singing, yeah. It's Merry Christmas, baby.
Okay, so as promised, we are back in the kitchen to finish tidying up in here. You can see I popped that pizza box in the fridge. Annie and I had gotten hungry and we decided that a little 11 a.m. leftover pizza sounded really amazing. And not only do I love having my sister over because she's like one of my best friends and I just love hanging out with her, but it's also super helpful that she's able to hang out with Louis so that I'm not constantly being disrupted. While I love being disrupted by him, it just makes it a little easier to get things done when I can stay focused on cleaning. Just popping in here really quick to offer the perspective that I'm not just wiping down my counters here, I am resetting the energy of my home. And I know that may sound a little odd, but I think it's also incredibly motivating to think of your cleaning as not only the actual physical tidying up, but the bigger goal here is to create a home that feels inviting and calming and peaceful, because that truly is the home that you deserve to spend your time in. Alrighty, the downstairs is officially done and it is time to bring some of these bags upstairs so that we can unpack. And starting off in Louie's room, of course I gotta open the blinds to let the light in and turn on his little Christmas tree lights. But question for you, are you like me where whenever you go on a trip and you do laundry afterwards, you pretty much wash everything that you brought with you, whether it's clean or dirty? Because I definitely do that, and 100% for Louie. Once his clothes have been packed, they are being washed before they go back in his drawers. And just like that, Louie's nursery is clean. We will be back in here later to do some folding of the laundry that is now in the washing machine. But first, we are going to head over to the bedroom because like every other place in this house, it has a ton of cleaning to do, and specifically unpacking because Tim and I had been in Vermont the previous weekend visiting my mother-in-law. And you may notice that I put a lot of our clothes back directly in the closet, whereas I just talked about how I always like to wash it after a trip. But we did do a bunch of laundry at our house before we left, so most of this stuff was already clean.
Nobody told me to settle down. Day nights and late nights don't get around. But there's something about you I like, about you I like. You're crazy for saying I should slow down, but maybe I'm escaping the love we found. There's something about you I like, about you I like. I get too drunk and too scared and lie to you. If only you knew I would die for you. One of us gotta say the obvious. Nobody loves me better. Nobody loves me better.
If you were to ask me what my number one favorite motivation tip is or mindset switch, it would be this. Do it for future you. If you're trying to motivate yourself to do something like cleaning or organizing or, I don't know, calling to make a dentist appointment, whatever it is that you really don't feel like doing in that moment, chances are you're not going to feel like doing it later either. So instead of just pushing it off, think of it as having respect for your future self and doing something that future you will look back and be like, wow, I am so grateful that I got this done. And oftentimes when I'm just feeling a little lazy, not wanting to do whatever productive thing I know I need to get done, if I think about it like this, that gives me the push that I need to get up off my butt and get to work. Reminding myself of how good it feels once my space is clean is typically the number one thing to motivate me to get up off my butt and start the process. So it felt really, really nice once the bedroom was done. And now we can head over to the bathroom. Very minimal cleaning that I needed to do in here, but just putting a few things away, wiping off the counters. I don't know if you could tell, but the drawer is very, very cluttered. And that will be tackled in an upcoming Declutter With Me video because there are a lot of spaces in my home that need to be reorganized and a lot of stuff can get thrown out, especially before 2026. So if you are new here and you're interested in more cleaning and decluttering and organizing videos from me, I would love to have you as a subscriber. And now moving back to the nursery, as you can tell from the window, it is a few hours later. It is nighttime now, but the laundry was done and it is time to fold everything and put it away. And just to note that Louie's drawers are also going to need to be decluttered soon because he is growing so rapidly and a ton of his clothes don't fit him anymore. So I'll be putting those into storage and replenishing the drawers with clothes that do fit him. So that's in an upcoming video.
Hi, I'm Kat, and we have a solid like 2, maybe 2.5 hours to get pretty much my entire home cleaned. I'll explain why in the voiceover. So let's be productive and get some cleaning done together, or organizing, whatever you're doing. Here are some clips of the mess that we're working with today. There is a ton of tidying up, a ton of cleaning to do. We're tackling the kitchen, the living room, the bedroom, Louie's nursery, the bathroom. So just a ton of getting stuff done. If you are in the same boat where your home needs a little bit of a reset, then we're in this together. I had a clean with me video on the TV, but then I noticed that Louie was trying his absolute hardest to turn around so that he could watch. So I did turn it off, and I ended up putting the video on my computer, and I just kind of moved that wherever Louie couldn't see so I could still listen and feel like I was cleaning along with somebody. But Louie was not getting any screen time, and he could focus on his playing. So I know I mentioned that we only have a couple hours to get all this cleaning done, and that's because I had a potential nanny coming over. My maternity leave ends in January, and so Tim and I ultimately decided that for childcare, we want to hire somebody to come to our home and watch Louie while I'm working. It'll actually be a combination of that and my mom, but we needed somebody for the days my mom can't. I used care.com, which was really easy. I mean, this isn't sponsored or anything, but if you are looking for a nanny or babysitter or anything like that, I found it really easy to work with, and we got really lucky in that we have 2 incredible candidates. So now the hard part is just deciding which one will be the better fit for our family. So Tim and I just kind of have to talk through that a little bit more, and then we're going to hopefully be booking a nanny for when I go back to work in January. I seriously did not realize how many baby things we have accumulated. You can see here, there's like the bassinet, there's a swing, there's the baby Bjorn bouncer, which he actually has not been really liking lately. I find anytime we put him in there, he kind of gets a little fussy pretty quickly. So I actually just moved that out of the room. I decided there's so many different things in here that we can narrow it down to the few that he's using most frequently and then swap them out when needed. So we have the swing, we have his play mat, and then the little standing play activity area.
You could be one of the things I love. Sunday morning breakfast with my bedroom door locked. I like everything that has a cherry on top. Get on my list of the things I love, love, love. You could be the one I trust. All the second chances say I'm nothing for right. I like it all with the cherry on top. Be one of the things I love. The things I love, the things I love, the things I love, 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 love. The things I love, the things I love.
I'm very fortunate that I have not experienced many negative comments. I've definitely had some, here and there, but for the most part, I feel like we have such a positive, uplifting, supportive community, and I'm so, so grateful for that. But every once in a while, there'll be a comment that I'm like, all right, that's a little sassy. And most recently, I got a comment on one of the shorts I posted that was like awake window activities I do with my son. And it was just like me showing cute little things that we do, nothing revolutionary. But someone commented and was like, I love the intention here, but also feel like y'all new moms think you invented motherhood. It's just being a good mom, period. And normally I just kind of ignore that stuff, but I did comment back and say, definitely don't think I'm doing anything revolutionary, haha, just sharing because it's fun, which is true. That's all I'm doing here. I know for me, I like watching videos on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram of moms just doing everyday activities. It makes me feel a sense of community, and whether you're a new mom or parent or you have children that are fully grown, I really think we can all learn something from each other and get motivation and inspiration from each other. There can be kind of a negative, more judgmental side to the mom community, which I personally don't want to be a part of. I know that I'm opening myself up to judgment by posting things, but as far as I never want to judge another mom or make my content seem that I am giving any sort of judgment in any way. But I also think that we all have our different perspectives and our different routines and different things that work for us. And I think it's really interesting to be able to share that and see other people's views on how they, raise their children, and then how you can implement some of those things into your home and vice versa. So I feel like I'm rambling now, but that was where my thought process was. So I'm curious what your thoughts are and if you can relate to anything that I talked about. Now, obviously, we're doing a quick tidy up in the kitchen, but we're not going to be going into too much deep cleaning because my next video, or one of my upcoming videos, is going to be an extreme deep clean and organize with me of my kitchen specifically. So I'm really pumped for that. I haven't filmed it yet, but I can already tell how great I'm going to feel once the kitchen has had like a nice deep clean and there's a few cabinets and the like baskets underneath the island that are definitely well overdue for a good declutter and organization session. A few weeks ago, I talked about how I wanted to add a little segment into our weekly cleaning videos where I share like a rule for the week, and then I haven't done one since. So we're going to bring that back. And this week, the rule for the week is that you are going to do one act of giving every single day. Now, this can be as small as giving somebody a compliment, or it can be as big as donating your time, maybe going to a soup kitchen, or donating at your time at an animal shelter, or maybe it's giving your friend a ride to the airport, or I don't know, going over to your friend's house and helping them unpack or clean or do something. Just some act of giving every single day for the next week. And if you really want to challenge yourself, it is the holidays, it is December. Let's try and extend that until the rest of the year. And I also think you should keep a little journal, whether it's a physical journal or just in your phone, and each day write what your act of giving was that day. Number one, it's going to hold you accountable to remember to do it every day. And then two, at the end of the week or month or however long you extend this for, you can look back and it just will give you a little bit of a serotonin boost to see all of the things that you were doing for other people and how you were helping. And I think that that's a little sweet habit to add into your daily routine. Now, I do consider myself somebody who enjoys cleaning. If I'm feeling very overstressed, overstimulated, a lot of times if I just pop some headphones in or turn some music on, a clean with me video, and do some tidying up, it genuinely makes me feel better. And of course, not all cleaning activities I enjoy, but wiping down counters is definitely one of my favorites. It's just, I don't know, very therapeutic to me. So I'm curious, what is your least favorite and favorite cleaning activity? Now, the kitchen is finally done, and it's time to take my now room temperature coffee that I had in the morning and turn it into iced coffee in this super adorable and festive little candy cane glass. And then we're going to head upstairs, bring Louie's laundry because we're going to fold that and put it away in his nursery. I wanted to share a little update on how I'm feeling 4.5 months postpartum. I genuinely cannot believe how quickly this time has gone by. But if you are a new mom or you're going to be a new mom, please do not listen to people who say you will never sleep again, you will never feel rested again. Yes, you are going to get a lot less sleep than you probably ever have before, but also yes, you will sleep again. I'm not going to lie, the first couple months and especially the first couple of weeks were really, really challenging. I mean, waking up every few hours to pump or to feed him was one of the hardest things I've ever done because, you know, even the nights where my husband would take Louis and he would be feeding him bottles in the middle of the night, I still had to wake up every few hours to pump. And I just felt like, how will I ever function again as a human when I'm getting such little sleep? But it does get better. I promise you. Louis is now pretty much sleeping through the night. I will say we're going through a little bit of a 4-month sleep regression, but obviously that's all part of it. And he is doing very consistent, much longer stretches of like 6 to 8 hours a night, which just makes me feel like a brand new woman, to be honest. So I just want to say that you will get sleep again. Obviously, everybody's experience is different, but I can say as somebody who really, really struggled sleep-wise at the beginning, it has gotten exponentially better. And I would love to hear your experience with this in the comments as well. I hope this goes without saying, and pretty much not pretty much, literally anything that I talk about in my videos ever, even if I don't ask like, oh, what's your opinion? I'd always love to know. I mean, the reason why I'm sharing a lot of the stuff I talk about is just because I want to have have a conversation and I want to talk and I love hearing different opinions. And again, maybe I don't even need to say that, but if you ever have any thoughts about anything that I talk about, I would absolutely love to hear them. Obviously, please be respectful if you disagree, which is totally fine if you disagree. Just, share your opinion nicely, but I would love to hear it. Now, clearly Louis' closet needs a little bit of work, and I'm really excited because in an upcoming episode of my decluttering my entire home series, we are going to be tackling this closet. So that is to come. Now, totally random, but this pink balloon here, it is literally older than Louis. This is the balloon that my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law got me for my birthday, which was on June 10th. And Louis was born a month and a day later on July 11th. So it's so crazy to me that this balloon is still just kind of hanging out in our home, and it's literally a month and a day older than him. So that was kind of special. Alrighty, moving on to the bedroom. Now we had to start off by making the bed, which you'll see in a second meant moving Callie because I don't know if you can tell from this clip, but you'll see in a moment she has herself tucked into the blankets. There she is popping up. She knows that this is just one of her many bed options throughout the house. She can pretty much go, not pretty much, she can literally go anywhere in the home that she wants to. I'm going to guess that you've probably heard the following statement many, many times already this year, but I'm going to say it again. And that is, I cannot believe how quickly this year has gone by. I feel like I blinked and it is December again. So I'm curious, do you have any holiday, Christmas traditions that are really, really important to you and your family? Because obviously now mine and Tim's family is growing. We have our son Louis, and I'm so excited to start so many magical holiday traditions. And I do have a list of a ton that I know I want to do, start in our family, which let me know if you want to hear those, because maybe in an upcoming video I'll share those in the voiceover. But I'm also always so excited to hear new ideas and what other families do. So I'd love to hear what are some of your favorite holiday traditions that you do.
Merry Christmas, honey. Yeah. The snowman's dusting off his hat, putting on the show for everybody. Give them a smile that lasts another year. There's something that happens when sleigh bells are ringing, when December ends, when the children are singing, yeah. Merry Christmas, baby.
So as part of this home reset, I did have a little bit of unpacking to do because Tim and I were in Vermont for Thanksgiving, which was such an incredible weekend. We were up there with his mom, and then my mom and my stepdad and my sister all came as well, which I am so grateful we're all able to spend the holidays like that together. So that was really special. But as far as packing and unpacking goes, these hanging foldable packing cubes I got from Amazon makes my life so much easier. You can hang it up, slip your clothes in there, then fold it up, put it in your suitcase, and then it's super easy to unpack as well. So highly recommend if you're somebody who travels a lot. Obviously it does take up a little bit of space, but I find that having a tiny bit less space in your suitcase so you can fit this organizer is so worth it, because it just makes it so much easier to hang it up in a closet when you get to your destination and just use stuff that's already organized. Now, I was genuinely surprised at how quickly we were able to get through all this cleaning. Probably like because I knew I only had a couple of hours, it really pushed me to go and like clean very fast. Obviously, we had a couple of pauses when taking care of a baby while trying to clean. It definitely makes things take longer. But between Louis taking a nap and the fact that he is becoming way more content, just like chilling and hanging out, he has some kind of entertainment, whether that's a mobile or he's playing with his toys, or I have him in a seat and he's like watching me clean. It's a lot easier to get stuff done without having to like be constantly entertaining him. And don't get me wrong, we do playtime plenty where I'm actually like reading him books and handing him toys and showing him stuff and talking to him and doing face-to-face time. But it is also very helpful that he's getting to a point where he's more content just chilling on his own so I can get stuff done even when he's awake. Alrighty, moving on to the bathroom, just a really quick tidy up in here and unpacking my toiletry bag from the previous weekend. The bathroom counter is one of those places that no matter how hard I try to keep it clean and clear all of the time, it just accumulates stuff. However, I will say that since we filmed episode 1 of my Decluttering My Home series, where we tackled these 3 drawers in my bathroom, it has been so much better because when I open up the drawers, there's plenty of space in there. I'm not like trying to you know what I'm trying to say, sort through stuff, but also there's just less stuff in general because a lot of the products in there were either expired or I never use and I can give them away. So it definitely made a huge difference. And if you've been thinking about decluttering your bathroom drawers, this is your sign to do it.
Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know that I would? 'Cause I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? Forever. Forever.
Now, this was like 15 minutes before the nanny got here for our interview, but I did decide to quickly vacuum up. I was very grateful I had some time to do this because I feel like once you vacuum, that really makes it feel like the room is clean and done and just so much, it feels a lot nicer. So we did that. And now this is a few hours later. I don't know if you could tell by the windows, it is now dark outside because I did not have time to fold the excessive amount of laundry that we had done earlier before the nanny got there. But that interview went really, really well. Like I said earlier, I'm very excited and grateful that we have a couple amazing candidates. I'm not going to lie though, the part that's stressing me out is the fact that I have to tell one of them that we're not moving forward with them. I definitely need to work on this, but I get unbelievably like anxious and nervous and stressed having to give anybody any like relatively bad news. Just the thought of me being the reason that somebody's disappointed about something makes me so upset. But that also brings me back to a moment I had in therapy a few years ago where my therapist was like, I forget exactly what we were talking about, but she was basically saying how you need to trust that people are completely capable of handling their own emotions, their own disappointment. Just like I have felt disappointment plenty times in my life and I was just fine and I moved forward and better things came. And who knows, maybe the nanny that we don't move forward with, if we had made her an offer, she would have said no anyways because she has a better offer that she was going to take. So realistically, I have absolutely no idea what they're thinking, and I just have to focus on doing what's best for my family and Louis. And I'm very, very grateful to be in the position where we even can hire a nanny. So that's just a little bit of my random thoughts on that. Becoming a mom has taught me a lot of things, and one of those being that whenever I have a moment to get some cleaning done, I'm going to take advantage of that. And so if you have anything on your to-do list that you need to get done today, maybe cleaning, organizing, just checking some stuff off, let's get it done together.
Good morning. I actually was going to be filming a declutter with me video today, but my husband and I are also going to spend 4 days up in Vermont with my mother-in-law, and we leave later this afternoon when he gets home from work. Are you up from your nap and you want attention? And
I was like in my mind, like, okay, I need to clean, I need to get myself ready, I need to pack, I need to film all my declutter clips because if I want the video to go up Sunday, sorry. So I figured, why don't I just take you along with the cleaning instead and the packing, because I have to do that anyways. And then the decluttering video can go up next week. I can do that when we get home. While there was nothing more I would have loved to do in that moment than just sit on the couch and lie with Louie, there is way too much to get done. So we're popping him in his little swing. My mom got him this. He loves it. And let's spend the day together cleaning, packing, and just getting stuff done. First things first, I had to pop this load of laundry in the washing machine, and then it was time to pump. Louie was sitting in his little baby Bjorn bouncer. I was watching Selling the OC season 4 and getting some pumping done. But then of course I end up just playing with Louie most of the time. This little reindeer that sings Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer has been like one of his favorite toys lately. I think it's so cute watching him play with that. But then once I did some pumping, Callie finally came downstairs for her breakfast. So first I let her outside so she could go potty. It's getting very chilly in the morning here. Like I said, I'm in Vermont right now while I'm doing the voiceover, and it actually snowed last night. We have not gotten any snow in Connecticut, and it is a little bit rare that we get snow in Connecticut before Christmas. And so it was so nice to wake up this morning to some snow on the ground. It just feels so festive. And then making Callie's breakfast, I always like to add in something to make it a little bit more tasty for her. So today I had some peas, carrots, green beans, and corn. She absolutely loves this breakfast. And then I'm going ahead and making mine for the morning. Side note, these, I think Sola, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but this is protein bread. Each slice has 10 grams of protein. And between nursing, my body needs a lot of food. Plus today we got a lot of productive stuff to get done. So I really want to make sure that I'm fueling my body. So 2 slices of this with some eggs has been like my go-to breakfast lately. I don't know if you can really tell from the clips, but Louis sitting on the floor in his baby Bjorn bouncer, and I'm kind of like talking him through everything that I'm doing. Obviously, he has no idea what I'm saying, but I just think it's like he's watching me and he's definitely absorbing everything that's going on. Now, something that I'm in the market for, and I'd love your opinion on, is a high chair. I've been doing a ton of research to kind of like see which one I want to get. The number one that I keep kind of going back to is the mocking chair high chair. It seems practical. It seems easy to use. It's very like, it looks very nice. And I like how it can grow with him and it becomes more of like a stool and a seat and all of that as he gets bigger. But there's so many on the market. So I'm curious if you have any recommendations for a specific one that you've used and really love. Alrighty, breakfast has been eaten and it is now time to clean. We're starting off in the living room and obviously you can see I hadn't changed yet. I will say most mornings I'm pretty good about changing into something more put together first thing. I just find that that is a really great habit to keep me like productive for the day. Even if I'm just hanging around all day, it just makes me feel better. But clearly this morning that didn't happen. Although you will see in a short little bit, we do end up changing. And Louis joins us for the cleaning as well. Ooh, I just had an idea. So I want to add a segment into my weekly cleaning videos that's like I share a rule for the week that you should follow. Now, this week's rule is going to be getting at least a little bit ready every single morning. If you already do that, that's great, but I know it can be a little challenging. So this week's goal is every single morning, you're going to get at least a little bit ready. Leave an outfit out the night before. That's going to make it so much easier. And maybe have like your makeup pieces that you plan to use set up really neatly. If you plan to put on makeup, I mean, that's obviously not a must, but I find that if I put a little mascara, a little concealer, and a little bit of eyebrow gel, I just feel 10 times better. So that's the rule for the week. Every morning, get yourself a little ready. Now at this point, Louis was getting a little fussy. He was ready to go be changed. So I'm grabbing him, and this was the perfect opportunity for, as we just talked about, me to change myself as well. And he also was not in the mood to be put down. So I put on this wild bird carrier. They sent this to me a few weeks ago, and I absolutely love it. Highly recommend. I will have it linked below. This isn't sponsored or anything, but I'm a huge fan now that I've tried it. A little lesson that I want to share that I learned the hard way. I mean, I've learned it many times, but I was reminded of it today, is that it is not a good idea to watch a show while cleaning, because as you can see here, and I didn't even realize I was doing this, I got so distracted by watching it. That's why I tend to like watching like a clean with me video, or sometimes I'll listen to music, but to be honest, I'm typically watching a clean with me video on YouTube. I just find that helps me stay motivated way longer, and I get way less distracted because I just feel like I'm cleaning along with somebody. And not total side note, but I hope that that's what my videos can be for you as well. Now, another segment that I actually want to bring back, this is one that I used to do in all my cleaning videos, and that is the quote of the video. So today's quote is actually by Taylor Swift. Whether you like her or you don't, this quote, I love her, by the way, but whether you do or you don't, this is probably one of my favorite quotes and messages that I think everybody needs to remember. And that is, the worst kind of person is someone who makes you feel bad, dumb, or stupid for being excited about something. I was actually talking about this with my husband the other day. I forget how we got on the topic, but he was talking about how he loves it when somebody's super passionate about something, regardless of if it's something that he's interested or not. And that's what made me think of the quote by Taylor Swift, and I brought it up because it's so true. I mean, unfortunately, there are a lot of people who, if you're talking and getting really excited about something, maybe they think it's too basic or too cliche or maybe even weird, and so they kind of roll their eyes or they act annoyed. And I just think that's so ridiculous. You don't have to sit there and have a 2-hour conversation with somebody about something, but what you definitely should not do is put them down in any way for getting excited about whatever it is that they're talking about. So if you ever experience this, just remember that is completely a them problem. It has literally nothing to do with you. Of course, there's a time and place for everything, but in general, you should never feel like you need to tone down your excitement for something because it's bothering somebody else.
You give me hope, something about you, yeah. When the sun goes down and the night sky's falling, do you believe in one-time lovers? 'Cause deep inside of my wildest dreams, you'll be by my side.
Super random fun fact about myself, and I'm curious if this is the same for you, but over the past little bit, I have become somebody who cannot do dishes, whether it's one dish or 50, without gloves on my hands. Not only do I not like having to touch the dirty dishes with my hands, maybe that's a little dramatic, but it's just not enjoyable, but also when I have gloves on, I can turn the water all the way to the hottest heat. When I'm hand washing dishes, obviously I want the water as hot as possible, and when I'm wearing gloves, I can do that. Oh, and Louis just sneezed. Bless you, bud. Today was a massive laundry day. All of these are clean bins of laundry, and there's actually more clean laundry that was in the dryer. So we got a lot of folding to do, but starting off by bringing them all upstairs. This was Louis sitting in his crib in his little chair watching the mobile. So freaking cute. And we're starting off by folding Louis's clothes. I don't know if it's that they're smaller, probably, and obviously it's a lot easier to put them away, but I do enjoy folding Louis's clothes a lot more than my own. And then I also realized it made way more sense to just pack as I go. So I grabbed the Baze carrier. I absolutely love this thing. I have it in both the bigger size and the carry-on size, and the bigger one is the one I use as Louis's bag whenever we go away for the weekend. When it comes to packing for a baby, I've learned there is no such thing as packing too much. I'd much rather have more clean clothes than I need than run out of clean clothes when I actually need them. So of course I can do laundry at my mother-in-law's house, but it's still just easier to have a surplus of outfits on hand for Louis. You'll notice Callie comes in running. That's because she heard the zipping. She has learned that whenever she hears the zipper of a suitcase or a bag, chances are it means we're going for a CARRIDE. And I spell it out because she's sitting on the bed behind me. And if I say the word now, she'll get super excited and start wagging because she'll think that means we're going for one right now. But that is like her literal favorite thing in the world. That and SWIMMING. That's another word that she knows very well. I have to say, anybody who ever claims that dogs are not smart, you're not very smart yourself. I'm sorry, but I'm not.
Guess I'm just too scared to settle down. There'd be many nights I got too high and almost left town. But there's something about you I like, about you I like. I get too drunk and too scared and lie to you. If only you knew I would die for you. One of us gotta say the obvious. Nobody loves me better. Nobody loves me better.
So the bedroom was actually not really that messy, but I did want to quickly tidy up because we have a ton of laundry to do. The bed wasn't made. There were a few things on the floor, some dirty clothes that I had to throw in the hamper, my hairbrush, just some random odds and ends out. So I'm picking that up. And then we can tackle the very large pile of laundry that I have to fold. I find that even when I'm on top of doing multiple laundry loads a week, I don't necessarily do one every single day. I try to, but I'd say most days I'm doing it at least one load. It still somehow just piles up between Tim and I, and then now Louie. There's just always so much laundry to do. Now, one thing that I will say, I know when we were downstairs, I talked about how I do not recommend watching a show while cleaning, but instead something that you don't really need to be looking at the screen to get what's going on. But the only exception for me, at least, is when I am doing laundry. Then I find that watching a show on the TV, it just makes it go by so much faster. And right here, I was watching Selling the OC. Love this show. I feel like lately there have been so many good reality shows coming out between the new season of Selling Sunset, Selling the OC. I'm currently watching The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives season 3, which is nice because these days taking care of Louie and nursing and between all of that, just being more tired from taking care of a baby, I definitely find that I watch more TV than I had in the past. Now, we started off by packing up Tim's suitcase, and fun gift idea because I found these. I got these for him years ago. Get a pair of boxers, or I mean, it could be any clothes, shirt, sweater, I don't know, whatever, socks, and then put the person's face on, or put your face on it, or maybe like their pet's face, something like that. I don't honestly remember where I got these, but I feel like if you go to Etsy and type in like personalized socks with face, you're going to get a million options. So fun little gift idea. Now, packing for myself, I recently got these portable hanging shelves, like packing cube kind of things, where you hang it up in your closet, you put all of your clothes in, and then you can fold it, pop it in your suitcase, and when you get to wherever you're going, you just hang it up and everything's already organized. And this is such a game changer. Tim and I come up to Vermont a pretty decent amount because his mother-in-law lives up here. And so instead of living out of a suitcase when we come up, I'm so excited about these shelves that are just going to make it so much easier. I'm definitely somebody who, when I find something I love from a brand, I become very brand loyal. And a couple years ago for my birthday, Tim got me that green baize bag that we used for Louie's clothes. So then last year when Tim and I went on our honeymoon, I needed a new luggage set and I got it all from Baize. I got the carry-on suitcase as well as the mini version of the bag that he had gotten me because this one can actually be used as a personal item on a plane. So this little set I'm obsessed with. And then I'm just taking a minute to put all the clothes we didn't pack back into the closet. Next on my packing to-do list is ensuring that the diaper bag is fully stocked up. And this is your reminder, if you're a parent, to go check the extra outfits that you have in your diaper bag, because I went in there and the outfits that I had were like for when he was 3 months, or they're not, I mean, he's only 4 months, but he's outgrown all of his 3 months clothes for the most part. At his 4-month appointment, he is in the 97th percentile height-wise. So he's a tall boy, and a lot of his clothes now, he's wearing the 6 to 9 months outfits, and they fit him in length like perfectly, but then the arms are a little bit short. It's really cute. So I just kind of roll the arms up, but just make sure that those outfits, extra outfits, are still fitting your baby, because it's kind of ridiculous how quickly they grow out of stuff. And then once that was all stocked up, we're heading into the bathroom so I can tidy it up a little bit and pack up my toiletry bag. And if you are watching the screen, you may notice that that top shelf is pretty stuffed up and cluttered up. So on my to-do list is to declutter that and organize it. And actually my next video is going to be a throwing everything out before 2026 video. Or, I mean, not literally throwing everything out, but we are going to be getting rid of a lot. And I just want to make sure that everything in our home going into the new year is stuff that we actually use and need and want to have. So now I'm just adding my toiletry bag and a couple other essentials into my mini weekender bag from Bays, and then bringing everything downstairs to the front door so that when Tim gets home, all we really have to do is load up the car. To be honest, this isn't even everything. After I stopped filming, I realized there were like more baby things and another bag of stuff that I had to bring out. Sometimes we just need a friend to get stuff done with. So hi, I'm Kat. Today I'm going to be getting a bunch of cleaning around my home done. And if you have any cleaning, organizing, decluttering, whatever, just productive things that you need to get done, I'm here to do them with you. So grab yourself a fun drink and let's get productive together. Starting off in the living room, here's some before shots of what my complete mess of a living room is looking like. But one of my favorite tips on how to actually motivate yourself to get cleaning or decluttering when you really don't feel like it is visualize the space super clean and tidy once you're done. And 9 times out of 10, that gives me the little boost, the little push of motivation that I need to get up off my butt. And so if you know there's some sort of cleaning or organizing that you need to get done, you just don't feel like doing it, this is your reminder that once you get done, you're going to be so grateful. It's going to feel so good. So get up off your butt and get to work. Now, this video was actually a very spur of the moment video that I decided to film. I was not planning to do any sort of a clean with me video today, but the home was a mess. And as I'm recording this voiceover, we're actually in Vermont at my mother-in-law's for Christmas. So whenever we're leaving the house for a couple of days, I like to make sure it's nice and tidy. That way, when we come home, it's a clean space. And you'll see later in the video, we also have some packing to do. But I'm curious, what are your plans for the holidays? Do you typically travel, go stay with family, see family, or are you typically staying home with just your immediate family or having people come to you? What are your holiday plans look like this year? I always love when I see comments that point out how unbothered Callie is when I'm making the couch or the bed, because it's just one of my favorite things about her. She is the chillest, just hangs out. I could throw a million pillows, blankets on her, and she's just chilling, living her best life. So she was very, very happy there, and I just propped the big pillow on top of her because there was no way I was going to move her.
Just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know that I would? 'Cause I'm just loving.
Now, later in this video's voiceover, I will be sharing 3 rules that I've set for myself for 2026, and I'm very excited to share those. But I also wanted to ask you, what are the different things that you like to hear me talk about in these voiceovers of these cleaning videos and decluttering videos? Obviously, some of it is just explaining what I'm doing, but I also like to share different tips, tricks, hacks, things that I've found help me when it comes to my home, being a mom. Obviously, I'm a new mom, so things that I'm learning as I go, and then also different personal updates, life updates about me to kind of just feel like we can connect a little bit more. But I'd be curious to know in the comments what your favorite things to hear me talk about are as well.
Just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? Forever. Forever. Forever.
Now, you'll have to let me know what you think about our 2 Christmas trees. A little family tradition that we've started is every year at the beginning of November, I put up our fake tree, which has like the white lights and more of themed ornaments. And then right after Thanksgiving, we go as a family and cut down a real Christmas tree, put the rainbow lights, all of our personal ornaments on there. Really wanted to have it in the living room with us because that's where we spend the most time. And we didn't really have space for a second big tree. So we ended up actually buying a big tree where the bottom half was all like sparse, and we just cut that off because the tree farm we went to, they were all the same price regardless of what tree you get. And every day when I look at this, it just brings me so much joy, and I'm really grateful that we did it. So I'm curious what you think, and if you have any sort of Christmas tree traditions like that in your family. All right, moving on to the kitchen. We are starting this kitchen clean with me off with Louie and his carrier. He was just not wanting to be put down today, so popped him in my Wildbird carrier, which I absolutely love. It's so comfortable. And cleaning off the island first. I swear once that is cleaned off, it just makes the entire kitchen feel so much tidier, and it gives me like a breath of fresh air and that little push and motivation that I need to keep going. So huge tip, whenever you're cleaning a space, tackle the focal point of the room first, and that's going to help get you like a little bit of a jump start and make the rest of the room seem way more manageable. For example, the kitchen would be the island, or maybe the peninsula, or the biggest piece of a counter. Obviously, your bedroom, it would be the bed. Your living room, I'd say it's typically either the couch or a coffee table. And once you get that checked off, the rest of the room is just somewhat of a breeze. Now, I'm definitely not an energy drink person. However, I recently got obsessed with the Alani Nu energy drinks, and I really like how they come in these mini cans. I feel like it's the perfect little burst of energy that I need on filming days specifically. That is the only time that I will drink them. It was funny, the other day, I was going to be filming a clean with me. I went into the fridge because I had gotten myself a single Alani Nu. I was so excited to have it in there. I opened the fridge, and by my surprise, it was not there. So I quickly texted my husband. I was like, "Did you take my energy drink?" And he was like, "Maybe." And I was like, "I was saving that for my filming day." In his defense, I did have it in there for like a full week. So I guess he just didn't realize that I was going to drink it. I don't know. But regardless, I got myself a nice pack of 12 of them, of the mini ones. And now on my filming days, I've got a special little treat to give me a little bit of extra energy. Now, I thought something fun I could share in this video are a few different rules that I'm setting for myself in the new year. I mean, I guess you could call them goals, but I feel like when I think of a goal, I find that I lose motivation for those pretty quickly. Whereas if I tell myself this is a rule for this new year, there's something about that that just clicks a little bit more in my mind. So these are 3 rules that I'm taking into 2026 with me. Number 1, at least 5 to 10 minutes of quiet time every single day. Now, what do I mean by that? Some period in my day where I am just in complete silence, no music, no podcasts, no YouTube videos, no TikTok, no Instagram, nothing. I am just in the moment while I'm doing any sort of a household chore. This could be doing the dishes, it could be washing my face, going for a walk. I just think that so much of our day is spent with all these information and entertainment and just sources of stimulation coming at us from all angles that I think it's really helpful and important to intentionally cut that out for a portion of your day every single day. And so this is something that I am setting as a rule for myself going into the new year. Another rule for myself is that I am no longer stressing myself out about things that I cannot control. Now, this one's going to be a little bit harder, definitely going to be a continued work in progress, but I find that I stress so much about things that when I take a step back, I'm like, there's literally nothing I can do about this. Like whether it's something that happened in the past or something that I'm worried about, but I genuinely don't have any control over it. So what I find helps me is having a little mind clearing mantra, I like to call them, to repeat to myself. And for this one, my mind clearing mantra is, I cannot control it, so it deserves freedom from my mind. And if I start overthinking something that I genuinely have no control over, I will just repeatedly say that in my head and focusing on the exact moment I'm in whenever I start to feel myself spiral. I'm so grateful Louis has started taking his naps in his crib. This is not only great because it's great practice for when he starts sleeping in there at night, but also it makes it a bit easier for me to get stuff done while he is napping because I don't have to worry about being quiet. I mean, he has never been the baby that I need to be very quiet. You've seen in some videos I'm like vacuuming while he's sleeping in his snuggle me on the couch, but in general, it's just easier to get stuff done and feel like I can not be, worried about disrupting his sleep if he is in his nursery with his hatch on, the lights off. And I also think he just gets better sleep that way. So that is definitely a win. And while he takes his nap, we are going to be tackling the bedroom. Now in the new year, we're actually going to be visiting my brother-in-law and sister-in-law and their 2 daughters. I'm so darn excited. And they actually live in Arizona. So it's going to be a lot warmer than it is here in Connecticut, which is why I had to get out my summer clothing bag. So here I am emptying that out onto the bed and then just kind of picking out the pieces that I think I'm going to want to bring with me.
To settle down, day nights and late nights don't get around, but there's something about you I like, you're crazy for saying I should slow down, but maybe I'm escaping the love we found. There's something about you
Alrighty, so the final rule of 2026 that I've set for myself that I'm going to share in this video is no impulse purchases. I think as a society, we've kind of glamorized overspending and buying more than you actually need. Even the joke that I make myself, I've definitely said it and I definitely do it, where it's like, oh, when I go to Target, I don't know what I need. I let Target tell me what I need. Kind of like you're just picking stuff off the shelves that you see that you like and adding them to your cart. And like I said, I am very guilty of doing this, but I also think that mentality wastes so much money that we really don't need to be spending. And I do have a tendency to just add random things to my cart, whether it be, the physical cart in Target or TJ Maxx or wherever I am, or an online cart for Amazon or something like that. But it's just ridiculous how much money we waste on random impulse purchases like this. And of course, there are some cases where I go to Target to buy laundry detergent, and then when I'm there, I remember that we're out of eggs, and obviously I'll let myself buy eggs. But in general, set the rule for myself that if I'm out and about and I see something I really want that I was not actually going there to purchase, I have to wait at least 48 hours. And if after that time I'm still thinking about it, then I can consider going back to buy it. But I find that 9 times out of 10 when I do that, I forget about whatever it was that I wanted to get. So clearly I didn't really need it, and it's better to just save the money. Alrighty, moving on to Louie's nursery. We're going to do a little bit of packing up in here. How adorable are these little outfits? I think it's going to be so fun to dress him in more like summery outfits because I believe it's going to be like 70s, maybe low 80s there when we're there. So that'll be a lot of fun. And total side note, but I'm really excited about decluttering and organizing Louie's closet, which you can tell is just a complete mess at the moment. So that will be part of an upcoming episode in my Decluttering My Whole Home series. So make sure that you're subscribed so you're notified when that comes out.